So this is just an illustration of why it's important that we always use a combination of methods. Don't just rely on pesticides. Don't just rely on one thing. Have a combination of methods so that they will maintain their effectiveness over many, many years. The second characteristic of a good integrated pest management program is that it's profitable for the farmer. If we have the most elaborate system for managing pests and the farmer loses money, it is of no value. And then the final characteristic of a good pest management program is that it's safe for the environment. And I describe the environment as the farmer and any of his workers, the consumers who eat the product, wildlife, and natural enemies and pollinators. So the honeybees and the parasites and the predators that help keep populations of insects under control. All of those are part of the environment that we want to protect. In my opinion, there are 7 steps to a successful IPM program. And these are to avoid the problem. It's much easier to avoid a problem than to fix a problem after it already exists. So if we can use methods of pest management that avoid having a problem, it's much easier than trying to fix a problem. Generally speaking, the way we fix a problem is using pesticides, but there are a lot of other ways that we can avoid problems and then eliminate the need for using pesticides later on. If you don't correctly identify the problem, you're not likely to find the best way of solving the problem. Let me illustrate with an example that I experienced of how this was important. I worked in the southern part of the United States in Florida where they grew sweet corn. And the sweet corn farmers there had very, very severe insect problems. There were caterpillars that caused severe damage to the corn. And early in the season, when the plants were small, they had cutworms that would cut the plants off at the soil level. So the farmers were using 1 or 2 applications of a bait formulation of insecticide to control the cutworms. A bait formulation is where you have some kind of a food product like grain or something like that that has insecticide on it, and then the cutworms will go feed on that rather than the plant, and they'll get a toxic dose of the insecticide and it will kill them. During the vegetative growth stage of the sweet corn, so between when it was very small and when it started reproducing, there was another insect pest called the fall armyworm that they had to spray 3 times per week to control it because there were so many fall armyworms. And then finally, once the ears of corn started to form, they were spraying almost every day to control corn earworm because the corn earworm moth lays her eggs on the silks on the ear of corn. And so they have to spray very, very frequently to control those.